um, what you what you what you project outside yourself is symbolic of what you don't have inside yourself. So if you need to have, if you need to show that you have something, then it's symbolic of the fact that you don't have it. Basically, it's projection of things you just don't have. So um, people who are, people who have, like, people who have a lot of people, not everybody, because not everybody's the same. So, but a lot of people who have big dogs are very insecure people. The dog is just a symbol of their insecurity, an attempt to protect themselves and hide their insecurity. Because if you're a secure person, you don't need a big dog, right? Because you're just secure in yourself, right? If you're an interesting person, you don't need to surround yourself with interesting things, because you are the interesting thing, not the things around about you. So a lot of people will project this idea of being interesting by being different, but that just means that your focus is on the thing rather than the person. Like, your focus is on the dog rather than the person. Your focus is on the pig rather than the person. Your focus is on the grenades. I mean, collecting grenades is a symbol of the fact that you basically want to die, right? I mean, that's what you're communicating to people. Yeah. So and people who can analyze these things understand it. Most people don't think about things very deeply, so they don't get that far. They're just like, oh, John's got the tiger. That's so cool. It's like, no, John is very insecure and has border and boundary problems in his life, and he obviously doesn't have a border that stops him from buying a tiger. So, he's obviously got no understanding of what would be good natural human relationships and borders. So it's just an attempt to hide those things. Most pets are, because the sad fact is that most people who have pets or animals at home end up having to give them away or leave them somewhere or let them die. Most people are not able to take care of their animals well. And that's not all people. Some people do. That's okay. But most people don't. Like if you live in Slovakia and you've got a lizard as a pet, for example, it's like, oh, that's exotic. Well, okay, but I'm pretty sure the lizard is not very happy, right? Because it's stuck in a box or a glass case. It's alone. It doesn't have any friends. It doesn't get out. It's just it can do two things. It can eat and it can die, right?
Yes.
What kind of life is that? I mean, it's what are you really doing when you've got something like that? You're not doing anything positive for the animal. So, oh, I've got a pet. It's like, well, no, you've got a animal that you keep in a prison that is just tick tock until that dies, right? So most people think that they have some kind of element of control over what's going on, but it's just symbolic of the fact they can't make good decisions and they don't have control over what it is that they have. People who have cats as pets, it's like, well, cats don't even need any care, right? I mean, cats can pretty much take care of themselves. So there's that. I mean, I'm trying to think of what other things that people keep snakes and they keep scorpions and that's just, again, symbolic of the fact that they're not interesting enough as people themselves. And
it's great approach to looking at these people like this.
You have to see beyond the clothes that people wear, right? You have to see what's under the clothes to understand human character. And and most of what is on the outside is a wall.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we project around us are walls, our house, our car, even the clothes we wear, how we act in public. Um, some people are pretty normal and neutral about things, but take the example of a job interview, right? When you go to a job interview, you're projecting that you're probably a better person than you actually are because you want the job, right? Maybe you are the best person for the job, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people project. Um, and the environment that we live in has a lot of projection. Whether it's the bookshelf with the books on it, or when people come to visit you, you usually clean the flat and tidy the flat a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more before people come. It's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yes.
good thing to do. It's normal. Yeah. So so there's a lot of this projection that happens, and when people are out in public, I mean that the dog's just a fashion symbol basically for a lot of people. So as most pets are just fashion symbols, or people not understanding what they're doing, or trying to explore certain boundaries, or they don't know what to do with their time, or they're copying other people, or they've just got a stupid idea and no
Mm-hmm.
one's told them that's a stupid idea. Um, so it's all that. It's all barriers and borders um, around about us, and there's a lot that we can learn from that. Some people use children as their barriers and borders. Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do. It's uh, a form of focus on the kid rather than focus on the parents, and then people look at the wrong thing because children just copy what their parents do. So
Mm-hmm.
a problem with the child, if the child doesn't know what they're doing, the child just copies
Yes.
whatever the parents tell them to do, right? So if there's a problem with what the child is doing, it's because they haven't, the parents haven't informed or instructed or taught the right lessons to their to their children. Not that it's as easy as being black and white, but uh, a lot of that information is there. So and a lot of things that we can buy are to make our environment better, or how we project ourselves in our environment a better beauty products, right? I have a
Mm-hmm.
constant debate with my partner about, people spend more money on the beauty industry is huge, right? Yeah, the beauty industry is huge. Go to the local shopping center, see what
Mm-hmm.
kind of shops exist, and then you get a picture of culture. So what have you got? You've got go to the local shopping center in Bistrica, Europa. What have you got on the ground floor when people
Mm-hmm.
walk in? What have you got? You've got mobile phone shops. You've got makeup. You've got sports and clothes. It's all projection, right? Which is toys for kids. Kids Kids don't really need that many
Yes.
toys.
Yes.
Yeah. Or here's a crazy thing. Ask people to give something non-physical.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do. Oh, you're being cruel to your kids. Uh, no, I'm not, because deep down inside, we all know it's the non-physical that matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know that, and only a fool would argue against that. But and then you ask people to give something non-physical. No one knows what to do. Nobody knows how to do it, and the way you do it is you give time or experiences.
But I think the cultural or the community is changing.
E- Entering the Western democratic culture is like being a child in a toy shop for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You you want everything, but you don't exactly know what you're going to do with it, but you want it anyway. And we've all been there in that kind of culture and had the experience of buying something that maybe we did or we didn't need. It's one of the good things about capitalist culture that there exists more of what we need than what we need. But that's good. That has to exist, right? We need more food than we need because there might be some problem and then we'll be okay. So we need a little bit more of everything than we should have for sure.
And what is the best or good example of non-physical present for child with symbolic as a present?
Okay, two things you can give: time and experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you spend time with the person or the child, and real real time, not Christmas time.
Yes, I
Okay.
understand.
Okay. Real time. I mean, I have issues with my partner's family because I see them. I see my partner's father once, maybe twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
for maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. And my perspective on this is very brutal. My perspective is he is not part of the family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, if you're not here, you're not part of the family. I don't care if you're blood related. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's got nothing to do with it now. It's how much time you give to the
Mm-hmm.
people. Now, if you give more time to your television than you do to your family, fuck you. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Yes,
If you
it's true.
if you give more time to people you don't know, who don't care about you, than people who are close to you, then I don't have time for you, and life is short, and I'm over 40, and I draw lines now. Like when you're 20, it's like, whatever happens, happens. I've got time. When
Yes.
when
Mm-hmm.
you're 40, it's no, we can't do that anymore. I have to be more hardcore about my opinions because being all nicey doesn't really get us anywhere. That's called appeasement, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not yourself when that happens. And the classic example of that is, how did Hitler end up where he ended up? It's because people said, okay, well, I guess it's just the way he is, and we have
Mm-hmm.
to,
Mm-hmm.
he'll be
It's
fine,
not
and
good.
yada yada. No. You gotta have opinions. You gotta have ideas. It doesn't mean you fight and you argue. It just means you have things that you like and things that you don't like, and you try to balance those out through your networks and your contacts and your friends, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I don't want friends who collect grenades. I don't want friends who have pigs in their flat, right? So, uh, or maybe like if like I said, if someone collects grenades, they have them in a garage far away from people, where they go there by themselves to check them. I'm like, okay, right. You don't want to endanger anyone else. That's
Mm-hmm.
relatively sensible. But keeping them at home is just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you have to understand the principle of time as a gift, which is that you you are physically there for people. Now in the modern world, it might be that you Skype on a regular basis or something. You check in, you keep people informed. Like, when you spend more time at work with people you don't like than you do with your family,
Mm-hmm.
there's
It's not.
there's an issue there. I mean, that's the wrong set of values to have in the long term. You got
Mm-hmm.
to work. Okay, a certain part of your day has to be work. That's for everybody. Fair enough. We have to do something with our lives, but we have to realize that the people who are most important to us need time, and without time, nothing will grow. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't give time to something, you can't expect it to grow. If you don't give sunlight to a flower, it's just not gonna grow up. It's just gonna die. So in time that we give to people is the same as like giving light to them. It's giving our energy and our help and our advice to them. So it's all very important. So and with time, naturally comes experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give time to people, you're sharing an experience with them.
And
And
excuse me, and how to or how to express it. For example,
Yeah, you can. Well, you can choose to be creative with it or not. I mean, it depends on finances as well, right? It's when you're giving time, that's all part of the experience. I mean, how do you? So there's two questions there. It's like how do you give it? What do you give in that sense? And maybe how do you prepare people for it? And and so I would I would do it like this. I would say, okay, I'm going to give you a day of my time, right? And we're going to pick a day. We can decide now whatever day it is, this day, and on that day, I'm going to do whatever it is that you want to do with you, right? And if you don't have an idea about what you want to do, then we'll think of something together, and we'll do that thing. We'll do that thing together. So now, for some people, it might be that you buy a ticket to go somewhere. I don't know, or it's a journey or a trip to a certain place, or the destination is never what's important. It's
yes,
about traveling to that point and having the experience. So it could be that. It could be sharing something new together. And it is crazy, but the world is full of new things that are constantly happening. And we people forget, but Banskaby Streets and around this area, there's so much going on
hmm
all the time. Um, every day there's events, there's concerts, there's exhibitions, there's social activities that are happening. There's things for kids. There's things for adults. You just have to spend a little bit of time looking at what is going on. There's always something.
yes,
And it doesn't have to be something special. It can be, you know, the, there's nothing better than taking your kids for a walk.
hmm
There's nothing better than that.
yes, yes.
There's just nothing better. You can go in this direction, that direction. You can go anywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
there's forests, there's paths, there's trees. It there's there's in winter there's nothing better than taking your plastic sledge up onto the hill and sliding down the
Yes.
hill on this. There's nothing better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And no amount of money spent on
Yes,
on
also.
anything is really going to replace that kind of personal experience. So uh, there's that. Be part. The gift should be part of you, right? So, say you give somebody like some people give like tokens and vouchers for books or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
think is a pretty good gift to give. But then you go with the person to the bookshop, and you look around the bookshop together, and you share that experience. So it's not just
Yes, it's
here.
better.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just here's the token, off you go and get what you want. It's like here's the token, but I'd like to, share the experience of going and getting the book with you, because it's all part of time. And these are the things that people remember when they look back. These are the things that people remember. They it's forget about the gifts. It's the experiences that people remember. It's 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 because the gift is given and received in a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it takes 1 second and that's it done. So it's not. There's no value in that. It's got to be something. The greatest gifts, the greatest toys, for example, are the toys that last over time, right? Well, I've had this toy for 40 years, and right, or it's like a toy train, but it's 40 years old, and it's been there. It's been through experiences, and that's what gives it value. Or old board games, or I have a teddy bear that I had when I was 5 years old, and now my son has it.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my son, like, what's his favorite teddy bear, and he said that's his favorite teddy bear because of the time and the history that it has. If if you're giving things, which are new, their value is questionable. It doesn't mean they don't have value, because it's not what you get, it's how you use it, right? So you can give somebody a mobile phone, and that's great, because they've then got their phone, and they got a camera, and they got access to information. So there's a lot of practical stuff connected with that as well. But people are not, when you think back to your past, there's going to be a problem if you are more connected to the memories of your phone than the memories of the people around about you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with having memories of something which is nice, but it just means that there's a problem with your connection. Like the writer Henry Miller said that his best friend was his bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nice, and I understand that. But it's also symbolic of the fact that he didn't really have any good friends
Yes, it's true.
at the same time, because your bicycle can't help you back. Your bicycle can't teach you things. Your bicycle can't share experiences. Your bicycle can't laugh with you. And so that's what's important. And when people, like, I had the experience in the last week where, family come and they give presents to your kids and then they fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know which hole you're filling in whose heart by doing that, right? But I don't see any great benefit to anybody. I'm sorry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Please, and people don't like me with my perspective on these things, which is what I've just explained to you. But a lot of people say, well, everyone's different. Just accept it the way it is, and I understand that perspective, and I don't have a problem with that perspective. But that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like some people say, well, I like ice hockey. It's like, okay, that's great for you. That's cool. Some people like ice hockey. Some people like football. Some people like basketball. Some people like reading. That's okay. That's okay. But you have to know what's good for you. And here's the truth about gifts. Here's the real truth about gifts. The truth about gifts is if I give you something, it tells us more about me than it does about you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Always the gift tells more about the giver than the receiver.
Yes, it's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm really telling you about me by giving you the gift. Because a real gift is I go to you and I find out what you need.
Yes.
I ask you, what do you need? What's not in your life that you need in your life that I can help you with? I can give you a book, but maybe you don't really need that book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might be a good book, but maybe that's not what you need right now, and I got to find out what you really need right now. And so when someone gives my kids plastic shit, they value my kids as much as they value the
Mm-hmm.
plastic shit that they give my kids, which means they have no
Mm-hmm.
value at all. And so I don't think we progress. I don't think we get better until we draw a line somewhere and say, look, I respect you and your opinion, but is that really what the kids need?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't communicate with them first about what they need, go away and think about it, and then come back to them with what they actually need, then you don't really care.
I can't imagine I can put out these questions through our family.
Well, welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world where we're all kind of trapped. Because if we focus too much on doing what is right, we're forced to deal with what is wrong. And actually, I've got a piece of paper here, and on this piece of paper is written something that I wrote down yesterday. It's connected with this, because I was going through I was processing my thoughts about all these things that happened in the last week, and this is my thought. All personal philosophy, and this is how you explain the world. That's what that means. It means, but this is what I think. This is my worldview. This is my philosophy. So all personal philosophy is the search for a way to rationalize or logically explain to ourselves our own past experience so that we can put what is already behind us behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And what this means is that our philosophy is a way of being blind to all of our experience, because it's really painful to look at reality and see a lot of the truth about reality. Because when you realize something which is true, and you can't tell the people close to you this thing which is true, it's like, oh, right, me, okay. Okay, so you end up having personal relationships that end up like a chess strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got all these pieces on the board, and okay, if I move this piece over here, but they're going to move over there, and that's complicated and difficult, and life is very much like that. Personal relationships and the people around about us is very much trying to live with and negotiate and deal with other people's emotions and other people's feelings, and do what's right for us, but do what's right for them, and not hurt these people, and keep these people happy, and keep my friends happy, and my partner happy, and my kids happy, and the people at work happy,
Yes.
and the mother-in-law happy, and my own parents happy, and it's like a game of chess. It's almost impossible, right? There's so many different variations and possibilities that it becomes really, really difficult to try and please everybody all of the time. And when you finally open up to people and say, this doesn't work for me, people go,
Mm.
oh my gosh, what do you mean? I don't understand you. He's different. He's odd. He's unusual. He's peculiar, right? What a
Mm.
strange person. Ja, ty nie rozumiem.
Mm.
Which is not an argument. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's not anything when people say that. So it doesn't mean anything at all. Because people who care about you, they they care about what you like and what you don't like. It becomes important. And like with the gift, right? What are the what is it? And when Jesus is born, you've got you've got all these people coming and bringing him gifts, right? And all the gifts tell you more about the people giving the gifts than they do about the baby Jesus, right? Because to the baby, it's like, the baby needs parents and care and food and these things that people are not bringing to them. So so it's hard because people don't think very deeply about what it is that's going on around about them, because it's difficult. Because thinking means understanding. Understanding means usually issues and problems. Problems have to be solved. That's more work. So that's energy. That's time. That's difficult. Life is already complicated enough. Why should I deal with this? So there's the gift is very much a mask that a person wears, which tells you about them. Because look, here's my deal with my partner, right? We don't give each other gifts because we don't need to.
Mm.
Because it really, and I had this thought over Christmas that it's like, how can I live a better quality of life? How can I improve things? What can I do in my own life to improve the quality of things for me and around about me? And the things that we all know, like, what if I could live every day like it's Christmas Day? well, it's kind of crazy. Why would you want to do that? Well, it's a thought. It's a thought experiment. It's a thought experiment. What if, right? What if I could approach every day? What if I could approach every problem as if it were Christmas Day? The same way that people don't fight and they don't have conflicts. So the armies stop.
We are forced to stop.
They're forced to stop.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, what if we could approach every day with that, with that perspective, which is kind of not possible, but it's a nice thought experiment to understand, to understand how powerfully we can actually change things in our own environment by reaching out, by connecting with people, by asking them, what do you really need, right? I mean, there's like I can, and that's the real way to give a present is the real way to live is to prepare.
Mm.
The real way to have a good future is to do something now. So when the real way to live is to prepare something, then it's always necessary to go to somebody and say, and for so few people do this, but it's so logical. This is to go to somebody and say, look, the kind of Christmas is coming. And what do you? Is there something you need? Because I don't want to buy you something you don't need, because that's kind of silly, right? So I don't really, and it's okay to say I don't need anything. Do I need something else that I don't know where to put? Like half of that Christmas stuff is, well, okay, where do we put? We put this in the cupboard over there, right? But there are things that we need, maybe the practical things. Maybe you need some clothes, or I don't know, cups, plates, spoons. I don't know. Maybe you need money. Maybe you got bills to pay, and it would be better if somebody gave you 20 or 30 euros than wasted the money on something you will never use, right? So all of those, I think all of those things are things that we can work on as people, and the real gift is in communication, which is part of what language is in my work and in my job. It's to help people communicate with each other, and we grow when we learn. We learn when we have experiences. And so that's why the experience of something is important. The time with people, and as I said, I see this more now that I'm over 40, because it's whoa. It's like you're somewhere in terms of life. You're somewhere around where you should be on sort of the top part, right? Or maybe it just goes up and up and up. I don't know. I'm not there yet, so I don't know where it goes really. But that you need to make, or people I think need to make some sort of stand at some point in time and say, yes, family is family. Yes, it's important to share. Yes, it's important to understand history. Yes, when you marry, you don't marry a person, you marry a family, because there's so many connections there, and we do all of these things, and we have all these connections, but at the same time, I think we save a lot of problems, hopefully, if we're honest about our communication with each other and what it is that we need, not what we think people need, because you work in a company, and the company is a business. If you design your business on what you think people need, it's a bit different from what people need, right? You go to your client and you're like, right, what's your issues? What are your problems? What can we solve? What do you need? You don't go to your client and say, well, hopefully you don't go to the client and say, look, I've got something for you. Maybe you need this, maybe you don't, but you've got to be sure that the person needs it. And so, Here's a final point. I have moved in my life many times. I think I'm at like 18 different places I've lived in now. And people can go, there's a problem there. Maybe there is. Okay. Right? But each time you move, you take a lot of things and you put them in big black bags and you put them out into the rubbish, right?
Yeah.
All the stuff you don't need. So much of it we don't need. And yeah, I would like personally to have a kind of lifestyle where I'm not surrounded by a lot of things that I don't need. I'd like to try to simplify it a bit and focus on those things which are important. That's why I work from home now, so that I can spend more time with my kids. And I still don't spend as much time with them as I should.
Yes.
I still don't. But that's okay, because when we know where the problem is, we can begin to work on the problem slowly. And maybe we never solve it, but we're aware of it, so that's okay. And so that all those things, the gift of experiences and time, they can't really be replaced, because when your children are older, you can give them things, but you can't go back and give them time that you didn't give them.
It's nice.
So the time is so valuable. It's so much more valuable than anything else, because it's all we have. You know, you go to the cemetery or the graveyard, and there's all these stones with people's names on it. And it doesn't say he had a nice car, right, on the grave. It doesn't say that, right? It doesn't say she had lots of books, right? It doesn't say that. It says loved. That's what it says. It says loved on the gravestone. It says loved. Loved, loving father, loving mother, loved by his wife, loved by their children. It says loved. And it says nothing about it doesn't say he had a nice computer, or, or he won the badminton World Cup or something. I don't know, something. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say anything about that. It just says, basically, it just says loved or unloved, because of, the energy and the emotion and the feeling that people put into their lives. So those are my thoughts on gifts and presents.
I started thinking the other way until since now about
Well,
it.
it's everything. Here's a final point. Everything is a distraction and an illusion. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just the way that things are. There's a great feeling in the nature of giving. We all know that we should give, and we all know that it's good to give. And a lot of us give because it feels good to give. But that's not what's important. It's whether the person receiving the gift needs the gift. Because it's like, I can give something to somebody and I can feel good. Oh, I gave something to somebody, or maybe I helped them with something, and then I walk away and I feel good. But how do they feel? Right? I feel good. Like, family came and gave my kids gifts and then they left. And they felt good. But how do my kids feel about it? Really? How does that affect their understanding, their emotion, their connection with things? And there's a story, and I tell all of my students this story about my mother. My mother. I asked my mother what was her favorite Christmas present that she got when she was small, And we talked about it for a longer period of time, but to make a long story very short, she said, I got an orange for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I got an orange for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I was happy.
Nice.
She got an orange. I got an orange and I was happy. And that to me is everything about Christmas. We live in a world of abundance where there's so much of everything that we can have and we can experience, and it's all good. It's all good. There's nothing negative about it at all. But in this giant world of everything that we can all experience, my mother was happy to get an orange.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that, it's like in the modern world, everybody can have an orange every day, right? I mean, it's not,
Every day.
you can have as many oranges as you want, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can go to the supermarket and you can buy like 20 oranges, and everyone can have lots of oranges. And you can do that any day. And so for me, Christmas is about trying to recreate that experience that my mother had,
Mm-hmm.
where she was happy that she got an orange. And that means trying to get away from spending a lot of money, which I don't have a lot of money to spend on on presents for my kids. So that's obviously an issue as well. But and gifts are nice, but that experience, just an orange. It's to think just an orange can change the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then oranges are everywhere.
Yes.
So what an amazing world, because this one thing that can change someone's world completely exists absolutely everywhere, and we can all have it. But we don't think about it like that, usually. It doesn't go, we don't process life like that. We're not like, oh wow, oranges. Because as we get older, what we see becomes more memory than vision.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk down the street, or when you go to work, like anybody who goes to work to the same place almost every day, we're all blind because we all see the same thing constantly, and we never really think about it that much. We the same roads, the same cars, the same buses, the same people, the same desks, the same walls. Not much. Maybe the weather changes, but not much else around about
Mm-hmm.
changes. And so as we get older, what we see is not reality, it's memory. And you understand this when you're with children. And I put Christmas lights on the Christmas tree. Yeah. And my youngest daughter, who's almost 3 years old now, she spent an hour looking at one Christmas light on the Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent 1 hour with this one light going, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you and me were like, oh, Christmas lights, what the fuck? It's nothing special for us. We've lost that ability to appreciate what is real, I don't know, it's called real magic. I don't know what to call it, right? We've lost that, and most adults lose that ability. But we can get it back through our children. We can experience it again through. It was lost to me. It was because I was Christmas lights. But for my youngest daughter, it was wow, a Christmas light, a Christmas light. What an amazing, wonderful, and beautiful thing. And everyone is like, oh, it's normal. Yeah. Let's not lose the sense of things. Yeah. Let's not forget that there's a lot of great things that happen, which can be little things. I didn't think when I put the Christmas lights on the tree that my daughter was going to be so amazed by it, but she was, and that reminded me of of how it's those little things that make big differences in the long term. And I have this feeling that she's not gonna remember what she got for Christmas because it's lost in the. She's
Lights.
probably not. It's lost in the everything else, but she's gonna remember the light, or I'm gonna remember it.
Yes, you
And
will.
I'm going to
Yes,
remember it.
yes.
I'm going to remind her about it in the future that the most magical moment of Christmas was the light on the Christmas
Lights.
tree. And that's powerful because the true nature of Christmas is the symbolization that at the darkest time of the year, we can all find some piece of light. And that's the real, I think, message in Christmas for people. That at the darkest point of the year, there is a light that comes to us that gives us opportunity and hope.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
There. That's my full stop. So, communication is it. It all begins with understanding begins with a question. The question is to people, Christmas is coming, so we're going to see you, we're going to visit you. What do you need? Is there something I can give you that you need? Because I don't want to give you something that you don't need, right? You know, it's I don't drink alcohol, and my partner's father brought me a bottle of alcohol.
Why?
I'm
He
not
didn't.
even I'm not even going to go there, right? I'm not even going to go to the Y area. I don't want to go there, right? Because I know that it's not a good place, right?
Mm.
But doesn't that just tell you everything you need to know about the relationship?
Mm.
Like it's like, imagine you don't have a driving license, but I give you a car, right? I mean, that would just be crazy, right?
Mm. Mm.
That would be crazy. To give you something that you can't use, that you don't need and that you don't want, right? That tells you everything. Oh, well, you know, everybody does it. Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, that's okay. It tells me everything I need to know. It tells me everything I need to know.
Okay. I
So,
start thinking different
well, maybe
about it.
it starts with a question. It's like,
Mm.
just, what do you need? What do you
Okay.
need? And a lot of the time, here's the key. A lot of the time, people will say, I don't actually need anything. A lot of the time, people will say that I don't know. I don't really know what I need. Well, maybe you don't need anything.
Mm.
Maybe I don't need anything. Maybe that's true. And then you begin to realize what you have at that point. You begin to realize what you have that you don't need. You don't need more. Like sometimes it's enough to read an old book. I mean, how many books have we read that we forgot that we read, right? Sometimes it's enough to go back and read an old book
Mm.
because we forget a lot of stuff as we go through life. Sometimes it's nice to repeat things. I don't know, sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to go out for a meal with people. Sometimes it's nice to stay at home. Sometimes it's nice to drink a beer with people. It's just, what do you need? What do you really need? It's because that's what we think about with our kids, right? You think about the future for your kids. You'd be thinking, okay, so what do they need? What can I give them that's gonna help them take a step forward? What do they need for their learning or their education or their school or their experiences, or what can I give to them to help them explore something? Am I going to help them join a club or play a sport or play a musical instrument or do something else? It's there's a there's a there's these thoughts that we have with our
Mm.
kids, and
Mm. Mm.
this is where this comes from with me. It's me thinking about what can I do for my kids, and if I can have the same relationship with other people that I have with my own
Mm.
children.
Mm. Great.
So that's why
Okay.
that's that's my speech. Everybody has to find their own way, and that's what I meant by the personal philosophy, right? Everyone tries to find a way to explain their past as normal so that they can do better things in the future.